Good morning, everybody. Good morning, my friends. Happy to see you. Happy Tuesday, everyone. So I hope your week, your month, and your year are going great. We're in the final stretch for September, believe it or not. And we will be touching upon this in some other chat. But what did want to remind you is this is probably the time that you need to start thinking about your 2025 objectives and goals. So, whatever you want to do next year, this is when you should start to think about it in a really, really serious way. Okay, let me adjust, make a quick adjustment here. Okay, so you probably hear my mouse clicking there. I was adjusting the size of the screen. If you don't know me, I'm Eduardo. I'm a former Fortune 500 CFO turned entrepreneur, executive coach, and ultimately talent catalyst. I love helping people grow. So over my career, more than 35 years, this is what really, really gave me the most energy, the most oxygen. But I did love my CFO gig, the decisions, the analytical side of things, growing the business, making those decisions. But at the end of the day, it was really the people and growing people and helping people develop. That side of my job that I really, really enjoyed. So I started my company, VSharp, to do just this. And as I was starting, an old friend, a VP at a pharma company, reached out and asked me to coach him. And that's how I started doing this for a living. So there you go. If you would like to grow, if you would like to become more of a whole person, if you would like to know how that impacts your development, not only as a professional, but as a person, as a complete individual, reach out, leave a comment, and let's hop on a conversation. I normally leave my scheduling link in the description, so I'd be happy to have a conversation with you about how coaching could help you. With that, let's go into our quote of the day like we normally do. And it's there. Perfection, perfection is achieved not when there's nothing more to add, but when there's nothing left to take away. This is Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. And I really like the quote because what it says is simple is better. So when you're trying to say something, when you're trying to convey whatever thought, you're probably going to be better served by taking away everything that's superfluous. You just need to leave in there those parts of the message that are really essential. And that's what I like about this quote. Be simple. I had a boss that said less is more, and nothing is actually truer or more true than that. Less is more. So get rid of things that are superfluous. Don't say it with 100 words if you can say it with 20, and just keep it simple, keep it focused, and keep it clear. And I think that um, that'll you do your image and your executive presence. And we have a question about executive presence later on today, a lot stronger. So thank you for that. Let's go into the second, or rather into our first question here, which is, all right, what are the signs that my boss is holding me back from promotion? Delicate question. So there's no real set of signs, but I would be looking for a number of important, lights that you want to keep an eye on. For example, have you talked about him, about or her about your interest to grow? Does he or she know that you are looking to grow? And as always, I will assume that you are already performing at the level, at least at the level above the one you're at. So in other words, that you're performing at least at the level to which you want to be promoted. Super, super important. When you are, and if you are performing at this level, my other presumption is you have talked to your boss about this. If you have asked him, so or her, where is this? Where is my promotion? And they keep on giving you non-answer answers. So things that are non-committal, things that are vague in terms of the timing or the things that you need to do to get promoted. That's one of the flags I would say that you probably should keep an eye open for. Um, Try to have a transparent, constructive, polite conversation about, I need to hear this from you and I need clarity. so that when you have this conversation that really touches on your desire to hear it clearly, we're all big boys and girls, and I'm sure that you can handle no for an answer. You just want clarity, and say that. You can, with all respect and in a very constructive manner, say, hey, I'm a big boy, big girl, and I am ready to hear the truth, whatever this may be. Why am I not getting promoted? What's still missing? Am I ever going to get promoted if it's up to that point? My advice would be don't keep it in you, just go and talk about it. But uh, those are signs when there's vagueness, when there's some avoidance of the topic, when you see others that are getting promoted around you, even though you are performing at the level above where you are, so the level where you want to be promoted to at that level, there's probably an indication. It's not definitive. There might be some other circumstances that could be derailing them from giving you a promotion. But hey, you won't know until you ask. If there's something you need to do better, then you got to go and get that information. So, how do you know that your boss is holding you back from promotion? Again, are you performing at the level that you need to be performing to get promoted? Have you talked to them about your ambitions? Have they said something to you that you are just not seeing happening, or are they not delivering on the end of the bargain? These There could be some other circumstances around it, but I would say that if you see these things happening, there's a good chance that something is stuck that you need to address or go and discuss, and it might necessitate for you to make a decision at some point. So, question number one, and I hope that was helpful. Let's go to question number two, which is, how do I handle a stakeholder who keeps changing their mind? Well, are you documenting whatever it is that you guys agreed upon? If you're saying they're changing their mind, it probably means that they would do something that was somehow agreed upon between the two of you in advance. And they might not be delivering, or they might have come back to you and said, hey, the terms for our agreement have changed. I told you that I would do this in exchange for that, or after you did this, and they might feel different. I would say, again, in a very transparent way, in a very transparent way, I would say, what's missing, what changed, is there an issue? Um, Help me understand. It's not about you getting aggressive, feeling offended, or necessarily framing this from a perspective of you are being the victim of something. There might be circumstances that you need to understand. So go and ask for those. That person will probably give you some information that will help you understand and determine whether there's an issue or not. Um, how sure are you? Are you positive that they were in agreement, that they were saying what you thought they were saying? This is why empathy is important. This is why you need to clarify, this is what I hear you say, before going and taking action or moving forward. Because it could be that you are thinking that they would do something, that you construed their position to be something that it might not be, right? So, is that the case? Try to determine if you might have understood that they would do something that they didn't really mean, and it might be a disconnect. Nothing beats communication. So I would say that this is one of the preeminent examples where you want to make sure that you are aligned with your stakeholder. Never be a victim. Never go there and complain. Never go there and recriminate. Be constructive. Say, hey, I understood we were going to do this. It's not happening. What's missing? And get information and go from there and approach this from a teamwork perspective and from a collaboration perspective. Not don't make a confrontation out of that. There's nothing more to say really. It's about your communication and clearing up what exactly could be driving their change. If they're a person who just routinely changes their decisions, then you need to try to document what did they say, what or by when would they do whatever they said they would do. And after your conversation, send it to them so that it's clear And if something slips, then you can always refer to that agreement so that it's transparent. And again, don't make a confrontation out of that. It should be a constructive conversation. Okay, let's go to the next question. I like this one. This is important. What steps can I take to improve my executive presence? Keep in mind, executive presence is essentially how you command respect, how you make people, or how you compel people to want to listen to you, to want to follow you, who want to hear your advice, and who will see you as believable, as somebody who can add, and as somebody that they can trust. There's three components to it. One is your gravitas, that ability that you will have to walk into a room and fill it with your presence, that people can turn around and look at who just came in, and it's you, because your presence is that big that you sort of command attention already from the moment you walk in. So gravitas, the ability to command respect, to convey competence, and again, to make people want to listen to everything that you have to say about any given topic. Second component is your communication. How do you convey points? Are you wordy? Do you sound unsure? Is your voice small? Does your voice tremble? Are you fiddling a lot? So, how you communicate is important. And that's a big component of your executive presence. So, make sure that you have a straight posture, that you are, shoulders are squared, but you're relaxed, and speak clearly. Be succinct. Don't say more words than you need. Keep it simple. Make sure that you listen to what people are telling you, asking you, asserting, and react only when you are sure that you really understood the point. And don't try to put people to sleep with how smart you are. Try to understand what they're saying and then come back with exactly the answer to that question and confirm your understanding if you need to. That clarity is important. How clearly can you present your arguments? That's why I keep recommending to people, learn to write well. Learn to write well. If you are able to express your thoughts in a clear, concise, well-structured manner on a piece of paper or virtual paper, if that's what you do, which surely is your case, then as soon as you laid out the line of thought, the through line for your argument, it's going to be a lot easier for you to get in front of people and say your piece in a way that will be clear, well articulated, and well thought through. That makes a big impression when you're able to convey something in a very clear way and in an economical fashion. And the third one is your appearance. Make sure that your appearance is aligned to that of your leaders. It doesn't have to be a dark suit and a tie, or a business suit. If you're a lady, there's no single rule for what your attire should be, your appearance. Make sure that you sync it with your leaders. It's an important piece of it, right? So when they see you in front of them, they will want to visualize you in their role. And when they do that, do they feel that you are apt, that you're able to be sitting in that table with them as one more of their number? Appearance is important because those leaders in front of you will be asking themselves whether they see you taking their role or a role of somebody in the table around them. So that's why it's important. Again, it could be flip-flops, it could be a baseball hat, it could be a super formal attire, it could be business casual. But make sure that you pay attention to how your leaders show up in terms of their appearance and sync up with that. That's important. So your gravitas, how you fill the room, your communication, how aptly you communicate yourself, how clearly, how succinctly, how well structured your thought process is. And thirdly, do you look the part? Those three are things that I would recommend that you start paying attention to. It doesn't hurt for the communication piece. It sounds, I don't know, uncomfortable, awkward, but get in front of a mirror and practice saying whatever it is you will articulate in front of the leaders, and tell that to yourself in the mirror. See your body language, hear your voice. Are you conveying the energy that you should be conveying for that point? These are things that will give you the confidence of knowing the message, knowing how to time it, know it, how to voice and project energy, and knowing how and when to stop. These are important things. Okay, so this is a vast topic, and there's courses around about it. And by the way, in the description to this video, remember that I will link. I have a free online course, no strings attached, on executive presence. It's a mini course, so it's not the detailed. Mm, it's not a detailed set of lectures or lessons on the topic, but it touches on the most important elements of it. So go to the description, click on that link, and get your free online course on executive presence. But that's an important topic, and I'm very, very glad that you are thinking about that. Okay, let's go to the next question. How do I address team members who don't take responsibility? Okay, this is something that you need to address really quickly. First thing that I believe you need to do, my recommendation, is understand what's driving that resistance. Is there something going on with their lives or not? And just try to understand that. That's something you need to do as a leader. That said, if they are just flat out refusing to take responsibility, not actively refusing, but they're just not stepping up, that's one thing I personally don't have a lot of patience for. Everybody's got to carry their weight, and everybody's got to chip in and make a contribution to what the team is trying to accomplish. So if they are not taking responsibility, it's probably time for a frank chat, a confrontation, and you tell them exactly what responsibility it is that you were expecting them to take that they are shirking. Tell them and let them know that you expect for them to be doing whatever it is that you are expecting them to do, that you believe the responsibilities are. Clarify whether they might think that it's a different set of responsibilities. I would think they understand what they want to do, they're just not doing it. So you need to be very clear that this is not okay, that they need to do their job and pull their own weight just like everybody else is. The longer you take to address people in your team who are not meeting their responsibilities, particularly if it's in a conscious manner, the longer you take for that to happen, the more erosive it's going to be for the morale of the rest of the team, because they will see that they're carrying more weight because that other person is not pulling, their load. And that's demotivating, that's disengaging, and it's frankly quite frustrating. And you don't want their energy to go into griping, into frustration, or into plain confusion as to whether they thought that person was going to be doing something that they're not. This is important, so address it quickly. Somebody who's not meeting their responsibilities is somebody you need to confront and make sure that they get the memo, that they understand, that they get with the program, that they understand what it is that they need to be doing and why. Don't give them a very long string, and have a little patience, understand their circumstances, but don't spend a ton of time trying to, pamper them. A team is a team for a reason. Everybody needs to pull their weight. If somebody isn't, then you will need to address it. Maybe they belong elsewhere. And if that's the case, then it's a disservice for you to keep it or to keep them where they are. Disservice for your team, for yourself, and for them as well. They could be doing better elsewhere. So this is part and parcel of your being a leader. It's not an easy conversation. Nevertheless, you do need to have it. All right, let's go to the next question. I think we're making good time here. Okay, what are the best ways to pivot into a new industry? Well, you need to know what are the basics of that industry, right? So first, understand why do you want to go from where you are to that industry? What of the skills that you have built in your present role can you port over to your new job? Read trade magazines, read business magazines, try to understand what the space is like in that new industry. What are the challenges? Make sure that you have an opinion, even if it's incorrect, even if it's not fully informed. Make sure that you have a thought process around it so that you're not viewing something for the first time when you get into an interview situation or when you have conversations with others. Do you know people that are in that industry? Why don't you talk to them? Ask ask them what is going on in that industry. What are the priorities? What are the challenges? Who are the big players? What does somebody with your skill set do in that other space, in that other industry? Example, if you're in financial services and you're a finance professional, your skill set is going to be somewhat different from a finance person in a manufacturing environment. It's equally important. It could be equally complicated. It's just different. And there are skills that you need to know that apply, right? In one case, you might not need to understand, I don't know, manufacturing process or manufacturing accounting, or excuse me, cost accounting, or other factors that are related to the industry. And if you're in a corporate position in a company, you might not be as conversant with, I don't know, financial engineering. So it depends on what the industry is and how portable your skill set is. So try to find out as much as you can about that new industry. Use your contacts, who's there. Try to go to networking events where you get to know people from that other industry you're looking to go into. And try to determine what are the common denominators, the common factors in your function between where you are, what you have learned, and that other industry that you're trying to pivot to. So determine, that's why it's important, determine what you believe could be the need of a company in that space, in that industry, and try to frame yourself as why you would be valuable for that other company. So try to understand how you add value to an industry, to an entity, to a company in that other industry. That's how you start to pivot. You might or might not have contacts in that other industry. So maybe somebody already has contacted you and you're thinking about making the pivot because somebody's poaching you out of where you are. Maybe you're trying to pitch yourself as a candidate to somebody that you know is looking for people. Whatever it might be, don't go there and try to wing it. Go and inform yourself about the general market situation. Try to talk to insiders to the industry, ideally insiders to the company that you're looking at in that industry. Use your mentors, use your sponsors, and most of all, try to understand how to frame yourself, how to position yourself in terms of the needs that that industry might have, that you could know that that company has, and your skills so that you can talk about the value that you add. I hope that was helpful. I don't want to add anything more because I just don't want to belabor the point, but it's really important. We're good on time, and I actually think that I'm going to be able to give you a few minutes. I just wanted to wrap by saying, remember, for the question on executive presence, there's a free course on executive presence at the link in the description. So go and grab it, 0 strings attached. It's only going to ask you for your email, and then you'll get a link for you to go and get access to that training. I'll see you here next Tuesday. By the way, I will also make an announcement. The weekly Growth Bites sessions are going to start to go to bi-weekly. So I will still do 2 more weekly ones, just like this one, but eventually this will go to a bi-weekly session. Not for any other reason, but just because I have a set of other projects that are going that I need to really be close to. And I don't want to have too many irons on the fire and not be here for you and not make the progress that I need to make with my other projects. So that's the other thing. And the third one is, consider all of these things that I talk about in our sessions. They're things that focus on doing. So I respond to specific problems and specific questions that you, all my friends, have. And I hope that's being helpful. But there's a whole other dimension to your professional lives, and I would say to your whole lives. which is being. So, regardless of doing, how you solve a problem, how are you being is what you are asking me going to help you get better in that one dimension of your life, the professional life. But are you giving thought to how that fits with the rest of your life? You're a whole person. So, my advice to you would be don't only focus on doing, on solving problems, do that, but always keep an eye out for the big picture. How does this fit into the whole of your life? My best wish for you is that you have a very happy, complete, satisfactory life that fills you with purpose, with fulfillment, and hopefully I'm being a small part of that. I wish you a phenomenal week, a great Tuesday, and I will see you here next week. Remember, there's only 2 more weekly sessions, then we'll switch to bi-weekly, but we will continue to meet. Have a phenomenal day. Thank you very much for joining, and I'll talk to you soon.